26 лет, и у меня, к удивлению, нет гуманитарного образования, техническое образование у меня, и еще я работаю в международной компании, но специальность тоже техническая, скажем, профессия. Но я очень долгое время занимался английским и IELTS в том числе, и вот 2 месяца назад примерно сдал IELTS, и вот очень долгое время самообучался, так скажем, и в конце мне сказали, что вот пора тебе тоже преподавать, потому что я друзьям помогал, я в IELTS тоже и сам набрал хороший балл. И, ну, в общем, понял, что можно самообучаться и можно как бы найти методы и технику, как надо подготовиться к IELTS, и, в общем, уж сам понял, как надо это делать и как надо обучать.
Это очень похвально. То есть для наших курсов подойдет. То есть вы знаете, как с нуля добиться хороших результатов. У вас, по-моему, 8, да?
8,5.
8,5. Это замечательно. Ну, расскажите, пожалуйста, Миндай, как нам этого добиться, как нам добиться таких же результатов, и на что нам акцентировать внимание, а на что можно и не акцентировать внимание.
Я сделал презентацию, я думал, что это будет в формате презентации. Если хотите, я могу share desktop свой сделать. Я так понимаю, удобно будет, если вот на английском я буду, или на русском, и половина на английском, наверное.
You can introduce yourself.
Окей. Тогда я экран share сделаю, секундочку. Share content. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
So this presentation will be about, so the presentation is called Introduction to IELTS, but it's not about IELTS. It's also about general English. So what we can do, or what students can do in order to improve their general English abilities, and also how to prepare for IELTS. So actually, this presentation consists of, as any language, of 4 parts. So listening, reading, writing, and speaking. There's no surprise here. But I don't know how much time do we have. So this presentation will probably, if I go through every single topic, it will take about 30 minutes, but I can do a short presentation, about 10, 15 minutes. So yes, so we have 4 sections, as we can see here. And again, as in any language, we have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And we have to identify what we need to do in order to improve our general abilities to listen, read, write, and speak, and also what techniques can we apply in order to get a good score in IELTS. So as you can see, well, first of all, we can start with listening, right? So what we can do in order to improve our listening. So in IELTS examination for listening, there is no short tips that you can apply in order to boost your IELTS score. You have to improve your general listening abilities. So you have to improve your general listening first. It's very difficult to use some techniques, short sight techniques, in order to improve your listening. So listen to English every single day. Again, no surprise. It's just basics. You can listen to TED Talks, podcasts, YouTube videos, but the best method is TV series. So TV series, for example, comedy, right? People watch comedy or some kind of entertainment. It's the best method for me personally, because when you watch TV series or comedy, you get addicted, right? You can watch some TV series every single day for 6 months, for 5 months. You don't get bored. So TV series is probably the best method, and students have to do this consistently. So every single day, at least 15 or 20 minutes. I don't say like you have to listen an hour or 2 hours every single day, but at least 15, 20 minutes, but you have to be consistent. Listen actively. What does it mean? Listening actively actually means when we listen to English, when we hear sentences, we can understand the general context. So when we listen to 1 or 2 sentences or 3 sentences, we can understand the general context. What does it mean? But we do not understand every single word. So people do not pay attention to every single word when they listen passively. So listening actively means when you listen actively and you seek for the word, the meaning of the word, every single word, and you write it down and you learn that word. So this means listening actively. Again, enjoy it. Enjoying the process is one of the most important things, because you will get bored if you listen to some difficult topics. And identify your weaknesses. By identifying your weaknesses, I mean some people, for example, may have problems with accents. So while listening, they do not understand all accents. They do not understand Australian accents or UK accent, for example. So you have to be able to identify your weaknesses. If you want, I can like do it in Russian as well. Maybe not all people understand. It's your like. If I can do this in Russian as well, if you want. I mean the presentation.
No. Please speak in English. It's very interesting for us, and I think it also practice for us.
Okay. So this is about, so this part is about IELTS listening techniques. What techniques can we use for the IELTS listening? So it's not general listening, but IELTS listening technique. The most important thing is reading ahead and practice prediction. What does it mean, read ahead? Well, as you can see here, we have section 1. It's the easiest section actually in IELTS listening. And as you know, the audio starts, you listen to the audio and you answer the question. It's very difficult to read and listen to the audio simultaneously at the same time. So it's very important to read the questions first. So you read the questions and you predict the answers afterwards. For example, we have here cookery classes, right? It says cookery classes. We have 3 types of cookery classes. The food studio, focus, what do we do in the cookery class? So there is a verb that we have to predict. How to something and cook with seasonal products. So we have verb cook here, so it's a verb. So we can predict that there will be some kind of verb here. So how to maybe prepare and cook with seasonal products. So we can predict the answer. So we read and predict, prepare and cook, most probably prepare. I don't know the answer by myself. So I'm trying to predict right now in the real time. Other information, small classes also offers something and classes. If we have also offers, besides small classes, we can have large classes. So we can fill the gap with large classes. Clients who return get a something discount. So discount, what is a discount? It's a reduction in price. So we can have a 50% discount or 20% discount. So most probably it is a number. So as you can see, we can predict the answers. So read ahead, practice prediction. Do not lose attention. It's very easy to lose attention while you listen. Because you listen to the audio and you may have some thoughts about your problems, maybe about some food in the kitchen. So you do not have to lose attention. It's very important because you can lose the track of the questions. Check out silly mistakes. In IELTS, people make silly mistakes, even they know the answer, but they can make silly mistakes as spelling, for example, or they can write a word in plural form while they have to write it in singular form. So yeah, this is some techniques. We have section 3 here is actually the most difficult part. As you can see, this is a lot of text. Even for the native speaker, English speaker, it's very difficult to read all of this and listen to the audio at the same time. So we have very little time to read all of this, remember all of this material and answer the audio, answer the questions. So we have to able to read quickly and identify keywords. So for example, the question is here, why is Jack interested? So we don't need to listen to the audio first. We need to read the question, why is Jack interested? So we don't need to read the rest. Why is Jack interested? And then we can read the answers. He may do a module. He wants to have a career. He's thinking of choosing the dissertation. We can underline keywords here, module. So we can, the answer A, we can associate with module. Answer B, we can associate with career. C, he's thinking of choosing this topic for his dissertation. So we can underline keywords and remember these keywords, dissertation, career, module, instead of remembering the whole sentence. So again, reading all of this, a quick read is very important because it's very hard to listen to the audio and read at the same time, even in our own language, in Russian, let's say, or in Azerbaijani, it's very difficult to read and listen to the audio at the same time. It's it's almost impossible to answer these questions. So practice prediction again and reading ahead is important. So the next part is reading. Again, what we need to know about reading skills. Again, there's no surprise. You have to read every single day, because in order to develop your speed reading skills, as we know in our own language, in order to read fast, we have to basically read every single day. And like, it comes naturally if we read every single day and we develop our vocabulary and we're getting used to difficult topics and passages. For example, it's one thing when you listen or when you read in WhatsApp chat, for example, with your friends, and it's a different topic when you read some scientific topic, scientific dissertation. So it's much difficult. Again, read every single day. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. Consistency is the key. Essential techniques to boost your IELTS reading score. These are some of the techniques. I will not go into details because it takes too much time, but skimming and scanning. I'll talk about skimming and scanning. Skimming is basically, here's a text. It's a lot of text. Skimming is reading the whole text in 1 or 2 minutes. And you don't need to understand every single sentence. You just understand the whole context of the text. So you understand the general idea of the text. And scanning is when you search for the word or search for the information within the text. So these are two different techniques that are very applicable and usable in IELTS reading. So again, I will not go into details because, again, it's a lot of text. We can't read all of these at the moment, but these are some of the techniques. If you have any questions, we can discuss it further. Then we have writing. Again, you can write every single day. Surprise, you have to read actually, because in order to write, you have to have a good vocabulary. You have to have a good grammar. So you would like to have a good grammar by reading different types of sentences, learn advanced vocabulary, pay attention to grammar and practice every single day. So this is a table. It's a very scary table and most people hate this table, including me, because most people do not want to read this table, but it's actually how the IELTS examinators actually are assessing, evaluating your writing skills. So we have 4 sections: task response, coherence, cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range. So how good you use your grammar, how good you use your vocabulary, how well you paragraph your essay and you connect your sentences, and how well you answer the question, the topic. So these are the band descriptors, the main thing that we have to consider while getting IELTS writing. Actually, IELTS writing is the most difficult for most people, especially in Azerbaijan, is the most difficult part to get a good score, because if you see even people who get band 8 in IELTS, most probably they will get 6.5 or 7 in writing, because it requires a lot of practice and technique. So yeah, by most people, it's considered the most difficult part in IELTS. Writing tasks, task 2, for example, we have to identify types of questions. There are 4 types in general: opinion, discussion, advantages, disadvantages, problem solution types of questions. So for example, there's some writing task 2 example questions. Some people believe that nowadays we have too many choices. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So it asks our opinion. To what extent do we agree or disagree? So it's an opinion type of a question. Some people believe that school children shouldn't be given homework, and so on and so on, and discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So discuss, it says discuss, so it's a discussion. Do the advantages of the situation outweigh the disadvantages? It's advantages and disadvantages type of question. So by these practicing prediction of these types of question, we can say it's an opinion, problem solution, discussion type of a question. Just one of the ways to identify essay types. And the last part, speaking. Again, speaking in Azerbaijan for most people is difficult as well, because we don't have many people to speak to in English. So we can listen, we can read and repeat, we can improve our vocabulary, but it's very difficult to practice with somebody. So in my personal practice and personal experience, it's very helpful to try to think in English. So for example, when you wake up in the morning, you plan your day ahead. I'll do this, I'll go shopping, I'll do my job this way and that way. You can think this in English. And by doing so in 15 minutes or 20 minutes per day, it will help you in the long run. Again, IELTS speaking is examined by these band descriptors. It's very important to pay attention to fluency, to vocabulary, to grammar and pronunciation. For example, most people have problems with pronunciation. Sometimes we can't say words because they sound unnatural to us, to Azeri speakers, to Russian speakers. For example, Russian speakers have a hard time saying the letter H. And so in the long run, maybe they have problems with pronunciation. It's very important to practice these in order for the examiner to understand you, to give good mark for the pronunciation. Again, you can do, well, for the speaking, obviously you cannot cheat or you cannot use tips. You have to have a good speaking abilities, but you can practice answering sample questions. So for example, just sample question, the speaking. Part one is the most easiest, the easiest part. What do you usually do at the weekend? So it's a very easy question. You can practice it at the home. What do you think you'll do next weekend? Do you enjoy your weekends? So this is general type of questions, and you can answer these questions. Like you can practice these questions at home before the exam. And for the part two, we have a card. For example, this says, describe a special gift or present you gave to someone. So you have to describe a present or gift that you gave to someone, when it was given and where you got it from. So it just you're describing a special topic for your special thing, or you're describing a person. It's all about having fluency. For example, even for the task two, even when you don't have the answer, for example, you're a very greedy person and you've never given a present, for example, to anybody. You have to have a good imagination in order to make up a story. For example, personally for me, I don't remember that I've given a present to someone in the last 6 months, so I can make up a story. So maybe I gave a watch to my friend.
Like a fairy tale, yes, imagine.
Yes, like a fairy tale. You have to do it, because sometimes you face a question that you don't know. For example, in my last IELTS examination, the question was about art, and I don't know almost nothing about art, but I have to make up a story. I have to say that I
Create
value,
story,
create some story. Yes, because if you say that you don't know anything about art, you will lose marks big time. So you will lose a lot of marks, and you have to be prepared for that. If you don't know the answer, at least make some type of an answer which is close to the art or close to the maybe science that you don't know. So you have to be prepared as well. So yes, it was a short and quick overview of the IELTS, because it's very difficult to go through every single technique in a short 15 minutes video. But if you have any questions, I can discuss the techniques, the methods to improve our IELTS. Yes.
First of all, thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. I really appreciated it. And second, I want to ask, in general, all school advice to us memorizing vocabulary and grammar. What do you think about memorizing vocabulary and grammar? How is this technique effective in studying and learning English?
So memorizing, maybe in the short run, in the short term, it will help you. So for example, you learn 30 words
in a sentence.
Yes, Yes, yes. You write down 30 words and you learn them by heart every single day. Maybe you will remember them tomorrow or a week later, but it's very hard to learn every single day 30 words or 40 words and memorize them and then use them months later or 2 months later. It's not I would say it's not effective in the long run. The most effective way, at least for me, is to learn words in a context. So, for example, if you face or encounter some new word, you have to use it in a sentence. So you don't write the word, but you write the word within the sentence. So for example, you make some, for example, there's some kind of word, let's say some, um,
For example?
I will take some easy word, difficult. Well, the word difficult, right? You can learn the word difficult by writing the Russian translation or Azeri translation and saying to yourself, difficult trudny, difficult chatting, difficult chatting. But yes, you will memorize this word in a very short period of time, but it will be very hard for you to use it actively. What I mean by actively, to use it in a sentence, because you know the word separately. You don't know the words within the context or within the sentence. But if you use the word within the sentence, if let's say we make an example sentence for us, for ourselves, like studying English is very difficult. We learn the word difficult not separately, but within the sentence. It will be much easier and much natural for us to use the word in a context and to learn the word more effectively. So I would say memorizing is not so much effective. Maybe it seems more fast, but it's not effective for sure in the long run, especially. So I would advise to learn slowly, but more effective, more natural.
More smoothly. What do you think about some people said that, oh no, learning English is not for me because I haven't some feature of character to learning English, that it's very hard, it's very difficult, it's not easy for learning English. Why some people said this? What do you think about this?
Actually, in my opinion, it's
Yeah.
not about only English. There's no topic in the world that's very difficult to learn. It's all about the desire, the willing to learn. Yeah, it can be applied to different topics. Let's say programming, some technical language, English, Spanish. It doesn't matter. It's all about like there are people that don't have any money. They only have the internet connection and they're still able to learn the language. So it doesn't it's not that they are genius, they're extra smart. They're willing to put effort. They're willing to dedicate their time and sacrifice their time in order to learn English. So it's all about willingness, dedication. It doesn't uh, it's not about like some people have the tendency to learn the language, others people don't. I would say every person can learn not only English but every single topic and anything actually in life. So I believe that if a person has the ability to learn and dedicate his time to it, so it will be very easy.
Uh, you think that every one have a passion for learning English, yes?
Yes,
But
everyone, yeah. Especially in the era when we have internet, when we have a lot of resources. So it's extremely people do not realize how easier now to learn anything, and especially English, when we have a lot of resources in YouTube, we have translations and so on. So I would say yes, every single person can learn in English and actually must learn English because it's future and it's actually not future, it's present. We have a lot of information in English about every topic and news are trending in English first. So we have to be able to broaden our horizons and to understand news all around the world. And so English is extremely important.
development career, yes, and
Yeah, everything in career, in your even your mindset. So if you learn English, you're exposed to so many topics. You can read so many topics, and you can be again, exposed to so many different genres, different scientific topics or topics about nature. So as we know in Azeri language, in Azerbaijani language, we have very restricted, limited information. So it's very hard to find good information, useful. For example, I'm from technical background. It was extremely hard to find a good technical information in Azerbaijani language, and even in Russian language. Most technical subjects in Russian are very outdated. They are now old. But in English, you can find like the latest, the updated versions of everything. So
Information,
yes, latest information, and just it's essential today, and especially for the younger generations, it's essential. I know even people like who are above 50 years old and they practice English from scratch. I had a teacher who was 70 years old in Azerbaijan State All Industrial University. He was 70 years old, technical teacher, but he used to learn English every single day. He was writing basic words in his notebook, and he was memorizing even words. So it's not late. So if a 70-year-old teacher can learn English, I'm sure that 20-year-old or 30-year-old people can learn English as well.
And Emin, a lot of people try to learn English, but they have some fear when they should speak in a foreign language, and they stopped themselves to learn to conversation, to dialogue, and almost in all times they keep silent. What do you think about our fears, our some strong fears?
I would say that it's based on the teacher and the surroundings. So if there are people who will laugh at you, for example, obviously there are some people who can laugh at you, who can make fun of you, that you don't know for example, when we hear some people talking Azerbaijani or Russian not right, some people still can laugh and make fun. But I think that there are people who can do it in English as well. But I would say encouraging these people is the most important thing, because even I'm not as fluent in English as a native speaker. So even sometimes I make mistakes. If someone corrects me, I don't have any problems with that. I actually admire that person, that you're trying to improve my English or point out my mistakes in English. So there's no shame in that. And I think that it's individual. We have to talk to individually to person. Maybe a person is generally shy person, so not even in English, but he's shy in other languages as well, his own native language as well. Maybe it's his personality. But in English, I would say that the environment is the most important thing, and the teacher can help the student to be more free and more relaxed. So yeah, I would say practice. Like by practicing it, being more relaxed and fluent, it will help you to be more relaxed, generally speaking different languages. It's never easy to speak a different language. It will be never easy. For example, about 2 or 3 years ago, I just started learning Spanish for 2 months, 3 months. I knew that it's very new for me. I cannot structure new sentences. It's very hard. It's not, it doesn't come natural, but I realized that I can try it. I can speak to different people. Now there are apps actually you can download for your mobile, and there are apps where you can talk to foreign people. So, for example, they want from you Russian or Turkish language. So it's exchange of languages, and they teach you English. So you can talk with people that you don't know in the apps. I don't remember the name of the app, but there are new apps in the mobile that you can download and speak to foreign people and improve your English and be relaxed. So yeah, I think that it all comes to individually. We have to talk to students individually. What are their fears? Why they are scared to talk to English? And it's not a big problem. I think we can fix that. We can fix that by conversations and practice.
Yes, maybe I think that when we are faced with some new challenge, we're afraid to make some mistakes, and
Yeah.
key of our fears that, oh my God, I must be will make some mistakes, and all people will laugh to me,
Yeah.
and but we must avoid these things, these thoughts, because it is locked our new opportunities.
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of teachers, even English teachers in our country. They can make mistakes. Even they can make mistakes. Maybe there are some teachers that have 10 years or 15 years experience, and even while speaking, they can make mistakes, and that's okay. Nobody should laugh at it or make fun of it, because it's not our native language. Let's be real. It's not our first language. We're still learning. We're in the process of learning a language, so that's okay. That's normal.
And what do you think about common mistakes when some students every time think about grammar, and when they create some sentence, they load it in grammar construction.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is past simple. What I shall what I shall do, what I shall speak, and blah blah blah. And yes, of course, learning grammar is very useful and priceless, but it is not necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, daily in daily conversation. What do you think about this? Like teacher, like IELTS teacher.
I think that it all comes from our school education, because our school education is based on that we have to pass the tests, and our tests are basically based on grammar. But in real life, especially in conversation, when you speak to somebody, you don't have to use the grammar very extensively. For example, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working with like Scottish people, mainly Scottish, but British as well, and even they make mistakes. They don't use proper grammar when they speak. The most important thing for them is to deliver the message exactly and accurately. Deliver the message accurately, and the grammar is not primarily what they use while they speak. So I would say that grammar is important. For example, in IELTS writing, grammar is extremely important, because you'll get marks for grammar, and actually in speaking too. In IELTS speaking, grammar is important, but you don't have to pay extremely high attention to grammar. You have to know the basics of grammar at minimum. So for the IELTS, you have to know the foundations of grammar. There's no other way around that. But paying attention, especially in speaking, in conversations, paying attention to grammar too much, I wouldn't say that it will be bad for you, but it will. It puts a block to you, that you cannot be free and you cannot express your opinions as free as you would like to. So again, grammar is important, but there are many aspects of English that you have to pay attention as well. So yes. Again, for IELTS, grammar is important in writing, for example. It's extremely important to use correct grammar because you will get marks for that. But for the listening, for the reading, and for the speaking, grammar is not the imperative. Grammar is not the most important thing there. So it's a priority, but there are other aspects of English that you have to pay attention as well.
And
hello.
Hello.
Sorry. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Amina, and I would like to just add some extra information to what you just said. I wanted to share with my about 2 years ago. I was abroad for some summer school program, and what you just said, that it doesn't matter how you talk. For example, if it's about your pronunciation or about your accent, it's the most important thing is how you express your thoughts and your idea.
Yeah.
For example, in that program, they were so many foreign students, for example, from China, from Korea, from Russia, from Turkey, Brazil, and so on. And all these people had their own special accent, and it absolutely like had like did no matter absolutely. And after some weeks during this program, just talking day by day, like all day long with all these people, really encourage you, like don't paying attention, not to pay attention to your accent and how you pronounce it. Just as you say it, practice, practice, and practice. It's the best way. And also, you said about grammar rules. As I noticed, even Americans and English people, they can do sometimes some grammar mistakes, but they do not pay attention to it because as you and I said before, the most important thing is to express your idea. So don't and again, as a person who passed IELTS exam and know all this experience, I want to encourage all our viewers that it absolutely doesn't matter how bad you think, you speak. It's doesn't matter how much you speak. That's
Exactly.
Very
Exactly. That's right.
interesting, Najais. For example, in general, I think most people appreciated United Kingdom English British accent, and everyone says that British accent is ideal, but I don't know. I think that's stereotype, but I think specialists in language, Emin, have some thoughts and about this.
Accents actually is not important as long as the examiner understands you. So as long as you pronounce the words correctly and clearly, you will not have any problems, because in IELTS speaking, actually, there is a band called pronunciation again, and it's all about how well and clear you pronounce the word. For example, there are some accents that's very difficult to understand. For example, Indian accents. There's some there's some Indian people, some of them speak very well, but some of the Indian people, even native speakers, like I was working in an international company, and there was an Indian, I think it was help desk, and the British person, he was talking to English to Indian help desk person, and he couldn't understand him, so he gave the phone to me. He asked me to speak to, and I didn't understand him as well. So some people have very hard and tough accent, but fortunately for us, for Azerbaijani people, our sounds and vowels, they allow us to speak freely in English. So we don't have a hard, tough accent in English. So we can pronounce words more or less clearly. So yeah, for sure, accents do not matter, but you have to pronounce the words clear so the examiner understands you. So yeah, generally, it's what I can say about accents. All people have accents. Russian have accents. Like Indian people again have accents. And I think that our accent, again, because we have a lot of vowels, a lot of sounds in Azerbaijani language, we have better pronunciation skills in general than Russians, than Pakistanis, than Arabic people, maybe, than Indians. So yeah, in pronunciation, generally we don't have any problems. Like people from Azerbaijan, usually they don't have any problems. They have accent, but it's okay.
What do you think about Azerbaijan accent? How it sounds?
Azerbaijan accent, actually, again, it's not bad. Like Azerbaijan accent, even in Azerbaijan, people have different accents because some people have Russian speaking background, some people have like Turkish, they watch a lot of Turkish series and maybe mix of Turkish and Azerbaijani background, and in general they can have different accents, but again, I don't think that we have a problem with accents. We usually can pronounce the words clearly, and English people basically understand us. So I work again in about 30 to 20% of our work environment are British people, English people, and I can see that generally they can understand everybody, every Azerbaijani speaker. They can understand with no problems. Even those who do not speak English very good, they can understand the words, because in general we have good pronunciation abilities.
What kind is a common mistake in Azerbaijan accent, in Azerbaijan people, when they try to talk in foreign English?
For example, to be honest, it's very different according to different people, because personally, I didn't have any major issues with accents or pronunciations. For example, the word voter, I cannot say the word voter as a US native speaker, because they make the letter T as a mild D, and they say something like water without saying the T too strong. So for example, me, I have problems saying water as a US speaker, but still, like, people from England or US can understand me saying water. So again, this is some specific individually mistakes that we can make, but in general, I don't know, like Azerbaijani people, very good in pronunciation. So we don't have any big mistakes in accents, pronouncing the words.
Okay, it's very nice to hear this. Yes, and what is the difference in when Azerbaijan people try to speak on foreign English, and difference with Russian speaking, Russian? Yes.
The thing that I know, for example, in Russian, there are different grammar, and for example, past perfect, Russian people have hard time understanding past perfect. For example, in Russian, when we say "Я пошел в школу," so it means I went to school, and I had gone to school. I went to school, I had gone to school. It's two different things, but in Russian, the translation is "Я пошел в школу." "Я пошел в школу," "Я пошел в школу." In Azerbaijani, it's "Mektebe gittim," "Mektebe gitmiştim."
Oh, similar.
In Russian, yes, similar, yeah. Azerbaijani and English, some kind of similar, we can say, in grammar. But in Russian, for example, again, it's "Я пошел," and there's no difference. Went or had gone, like past perfect or past simple. So grammar may be difficult for Russian speakers because of the timing, as you can see. And it's very hard to explain for Russians or Russian speakers, but generally when you explain this in Azerbaijani way, as I explained it, like gittim, then people realize, that's what's the difference. Like what does it mean, the past perfect, past simple, what's the difference between them? So grammar is one of the things. Another thing is pronunciation. Russian speakers may have hard time saying the letter H, maybe. So hello, as it is a stereotype about Russian people saying hello, hi, but it's not a big mistake. So you'll still get a good score if you say hello. It's not a big deal. So even in IELTS examination, you'll get a good score.
Literal pronunciation, yes?
Yes, literal pronunciation, but they don't have the ability to say, we have a letter A in Azerbaijani. They can't say A. So in English, some sounds they have similar to A. So yeah, the pronunciation might be very challenging for Russian speakers as well. But yeah, grammar and pronunciation, I would say, the main different difficult topics for Russian speakers.
And if we want to improve our pronunciation, we must hear a lot of video podcasts and other ways to get some experience in hearing.
In Azerbaijan, again, the most difficult thing is to practice, because you don't oftenly find people to speak to in order to practice your English. So again, there's some apps, recently developed apps, that you can download and speak to international people in English. You can. One of the ways for me personally is to think in English. You can, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you can talk to yourself. For example, when you wake up, you plan your day, right? You say that I will go to university or to work. I will do this. Then I will go to shopping. It's very easy, like to think this in your own language, but you can do it in English actually. So you can talk to yourself in English for at least 15 or 20 minutes a day. And one of the ways to talk to yourself, to practice speaking, because again, practice is our challenging aspect of learning English, because we don't have many people to speak to.
What do you think about thinking aloud? Most of teachers, video bloggers, and other specialists in learning English, teaching English, advise to think aloud. What is this? How we can get this experience? How we can get this way to get some improvement in our learning English?
It's one way to speak to yourself. So again, when you wake up, you go maybe have breakfast, to clean your teeth. You can say all of these out loud to yourself. So I'll go have breakfast, I'll take shower, I'll do this, I'll go shopping, I'll buy vegetables. So these are simple things, not difficult. But you still can say it to yourself, you can talk to yourself. And again, it's very helpful. Again, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you can talk to yourself anytime. So maybe you can practice it every day for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and in 6 months, in the long term, in 7 months, you'll see the difference. It's not natural maybe to some people to talk to yourself. So many people do not talk to themselves, but in the long run, I promise the difference will be there. You will see the difference.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Emin. Your speech really was very interesting, and we highly appreciate it. I think you will be the best teacher, and you give and you try to give us interesting and very actual, yes. Actual,
practical, actually.
Yes, points of view, points of learning English. And what do you think about my language? My I know it's not ideal. I make some mistakes, maybe a lot of mistakes, and
no, that's okay. That's not bad. No, really, it's a good, very good understanding of the language. But I think that as many people, you have to have maybe more practice speaking to foreign people, maybe even to our own people but basically we don't have an English speaking environment, so we don't have many people to talk to in English, so it's okay. It's very hard to practice in real life, but yeah, you can maybe listening to, again, TV series, podcasts, it will boost your speaking as well, because you learn new words, you learn new structures. Yes, advanced words, advanced vocabulary. But again, it's not good as practice. Practice is the most important thing while speaking, while writing, actually, while doing anything in a language. So,
everyday
yes.
conversation, everyday speaking.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. What about our guests?
If you have any questions, you can ask about any topic, about IELTS, about general English. Feel free to ask any questions. I guess no questions for now.
Okay, thank you very much, Emin. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your webinar and for your guests. Thank you all.